Welcome to another Incubate show. My name is Basil Zaider, Regulated Canadian Immigration Consultant. Today we're going to talk about the PNP or the Provincial Nominee Programs that are available in Canada for entrepreneurs and business owners. This is a continuation for a previous show that we have made where we address the most common questions that we have received from our clients, whether there's a specific misconception they wanted us to clarify or they have questions that they want us to address for them when it comes to these various PNP programs. The first question that we have received is, can I visit the province where I will be investing before buying a business? The answer is yes, and actually in some cases the answer is absolutely, and it's a mandatory visit. So some provinces enforce you to come to Canada to do something called an exploration visit. You have to come explore the area, the province, the location where you're going to be investing. You have to come and see the business owners where you're going to be purchasing the business from, or your partners, or even you're going to set up a brand new business. How are you going to check how are you going to ensure that the business is going to be successful in that specific location? So some provinces enforce the visit. Some provinces, they tell you you don't have to. It's not mandatory. It's optional, or it's recommended for you to do that exploration visit, but it's not mandatory. So depends on the PNP programs. You could potentially come if you want to. Definitely, it's recommended, but only a handful of the provinces enforce you to do the visit prior to doing your investment. The next question we received is, when do I send my investment money? Well, you send it to the business owner that you're going to be purchasing your business from in the case that you acquire an existing business. If you're not going to be purchasing a business, well, you're not really sending your money anywhere because you're giving a business plan for something you want to set up from scratch. It's a brand new business. So you're really bringing your money with you when you go to Canada to do your landing, if you're going under a permanent residency PNP program or a work permit PNP program. So it all depends on the nature of the business you're going to be setting up. The selection is obviously up to you, whether it is to acquire or to set up a brand new business. This is your selection criteria. So if you invest in something existing, whatever it is that you negotiate with the existing owner, this is up to you to control when it comes to sending the money. Or if it's a brand new business, then you're just bringing your money with you when you move to Canada. So you're really not giving your money to a third party. You're really not giving it to an investment broker or somebody else that's going to do this on your behalf. No, you're sitting in your home country, and either you bring the money with you to start a brand new business, or you negotiate some sort of a deposit, a partial payment, or whatever it is that you're able to do with an existing owner. The next question we got asked is, do I have to speak English or French? And what about my spouse? Well, it depends on the PNP program. There are some provinces, no language requirements, no restrictions when it comes to the level of English command or French language command that you or your spouse possess. Other provinces, they're strict when it comes to the language command, because think about it from this perspective. You're going to come in to invest in Canada, you're going to manage your own business, and you're going to manage your own investment. You need to be able to speak the language to a certain level to be able to manage the day-to-day operations in your company. So whether it is basic, intermediate, or advanced level of English, that depends on the province. Some provinces are more relaxed, some provinces are more strict when it comes to language command. That's for the principal applicant, which is the investor. The spouse, well, think about that as a tool or an opportunity for you to receive more points towards your qualification process. So if your spouse speaks good English or French, you can potentially empower or enrich your profile as you submit it to the government, which means that you as a family, you're going to have better chances of settling in Canada and being able to integrate in the local economy because you speak the language of the province or the location where you're going to be immigrating to. The next question we have been asked is, how do I prove my source of investment funds? Well, Depends on when you're going to be immigrating from. It depends on the country and the local authorities and what they're able to provide you with. So, for an example, if you're going to have inheritance as your source of funds, well, you need to show your inheritance documents. If you sold your inheritance, the sales contract, the deposit statements, and the bank statements where the money went in. If you invested the money and this is profit from that investment, well, where are the documents to prove that investment? And how did you generate that profit? If you have a company, where's your audited statements or your tax returns that will prove that you have generated that money from a lawful source? So it all depends on the different sources that you're going to bring the investment from. The documents will vary, but at the end of the day, you have to show your source of funds. You need to prove that it is a lawful source. You need to prove that you are the person that benefited from that, not your company. So if you have a company, you need to show how that money actually became your personal asset or your personal revenue or income, how it was transferred to your personal account as a dividend, as a profit sharing aspect, or if it's an actual sale contract, the profit that you made from that asset or that property. Do I have to live in the same province where I invest in a business? The answer is yes. The PMP programs are based on a province that would like to select you as a candidate to move and immigrate to that province, live in that province, set up a business, and then later on continue your journey in Canada. So during the duration of your investment, you have to live in the same province. Yes, some PMP programs allow you to become a permanent resident since day one. And under the Charter of Rights, you have the freedom of mobility and you can live in any other province. But you do have obligations towards the PMP program and the province. That's why you notice that the work permit-based programs, well, they give you a work permit. They don't give you a permanent residency. So they tell you, meet your obligations towards the business, and later on, we will give you the permanent residency. The PMP programs that give you permanent residency since day one, they ask you to pay a deposit, and you don't get that deposit back from the province until you meet the immigration requirements. So, do you have to live in the province? Yes. How long? Well, it depends on your immigration requirements or the obligations towards the province. Some are only 6 months, some are around 16 to 18 months, and some go up to a maximum of 2 years. Next question we've received is, can I invest in real estate through a provincial nominee program? The answer is no. This is an active management, active investment, set up your own business, manage your own business kind of immigration program. This is not an inactive management or a real estate investment where you just put in the money and through that investment you get your permanent residency. You have to set up a business, you have to implement, you have to, in some cases, generate jobs or create jobs. So real estate investment is not allowed under PMP. Yes, your program or your project or your business can have a portion of real estate in it, but that is not the main principal investment that you're coming in to the PMP program under. You have to actually set up a business, manage it. If you want to have real estate in it, that's not an issue, but it cannot be the main source of the business. Next question is, what is the best PMP program to invest in and immigrate through? There's no such thing as the best PMP program. Every province has specific requirements, specific obligations, and also specific benefits that you can get from that province. Whether it is British Columbia or Ontario, Saskatchewan, there's so many of the PMP program options that you have out there. So what's best is based on, number one, your profile, as in, do you speak English or French? How much money do you have in terms of net worth? How much money do you want to invest in? Do you want to go into a work permit program or a PR or a permanent residency program? Are you educated? What's the highest level of your education? Your age, Your marital status really doesn't make a difference when it comes to these things, but when it comes to specific provinces, your spouse can add to your points or enhance your profile through his or her qualifications as well. And then also the amount of experience that you have in terms of the management experience, business ownership experience, and all that. When you take all these considerations or all these factors, then you decide on what's the best PMP program to go into, because your qualifications will enable you to go to a specific PMP program. Not all of them are the same. And then the main factor to consider is, do you want to go to a permanent residency PMP program or a work permit-based PMP program? That also has specific requirements and benefits when it comes to the province you're going to go into. The next question that we have received is, am I guaranteed to be accepted for a PMP program? And if my investment amount, or if I have the investment amount, is this going to be guaranteed for me as an acceptance? The answer is no. Your money is only a portion of it, like we discussed. There are other factors you have to meet. Every single PMP program has its own criteria, has its own selection process. So just because you have the source of funds, just because you have your net worth, that does not mean you're going to be guaranteed an approval. Some provinces nowadays are going under something called the expression of interest, meaning the highest amount of points achieved by a specific investor will allow that person to come in first. So even if you qualify for a program, it doesn't mean you're going to be selected. You actually have to wait in line until the lowest number or the lowest points selected for a specific PMP program matches your number of achieved points, and then you can get selected for the province. Next question we got asked is, are there any PMP programs for immigration through investment in Ontario? The answer is yes. Ontario, at the end of 2015, beginning of 2016, reintroduced their PMP for entrepreneurship program. So there is now an active program, PMP program in Ontario that allows you to invest around $500,000 or $500,000 outside of the GTA or the Greater Toronto area, or $1 million in the GTA area. And if you want to know more about the program or the details of the PMP program in Ontario, you can watch our specific PMP program for show for Ontario that's also available under Incubate's channel. The next question that we were asked is, can I travel back and forth while I'm running my business and also within Canada or outside Canada? So travel is definitely allowed, whether it is that you get a work permit or you get permanent residency. Now, if you get permanent residency, well, you have the same rights as any Canadian. So you can travel in and outside of Canada as you please. There are no restrictions. When it comes to a work permit, it depends on your passport. So your passport will make you either be part of a visa-exempt country or a visa-required country. If you're from a visa-exempt country, then you can travel back and forth. You don't require a temporary resident visa to go in and outside of Canada. If you're from a country or your passport or citizenship is from a country where you're required to have a visa, well, then you need to get a TRV or a temporary resident visa at the same time that you apply for your work permit. So your work permit gives you legal status in Canada. The TRV, or the visitor visa, will allow you to travel inside or in and out of Canada at the same time as you maintain your work permit status. So PR, or permanent residents, they travel freely in and out. Work permit based applicants, then they can either be visa exempt or not based on their citizenship. I hope that we were able to answer more questions related to PMP entrepreneurship programs in Canada, and this was helpful to you to make a better selection when it comes to the programs. We're happy to help you in running an assessment to know which program you're best fit in and to see what options you have in terms of the provinces that you could qualify for and the different businesses that you can select to apply under a PMP program. Thank you.